My name is Madeline Carter, and I learned early in life that when people take advantage of you, they rarely do it with a loud announcement. They do it quietly. A little comment here, a small boundary crossed there, a favor that somehow becomes an obligation. And before you realize what happened, someone else is standing in the middle of your life, holding the keys to something you built. I was 34 years old, living in Austin, Texas, and I had spent most of my adult life making sure I never depended on anyone. Maybe that came from my childhood. I grew up moving between foster homes after my mother passed away when I was 9. I learned how to pack my entire life into a single bag. I learned not to expect people to stay. But I also learned something else. Numbers don't lie, people do. That was why I became a forensic accountant. I spent my days following money trails, uncovering hidden transactions, and finding the truth buried under paperwork. Funny enough, I never expected I would have to use those skills against my own family. Especially not against my mother-in-law. My husband, Daniel, always said his mother, Patricia Reynolds, was old-fashioned. I called it controlling. Patricia believed family meant everyone had a role. And according to her, her role was making decisions for everyone else. When Daniel and I got married, she constantly reminded me that I was lucky to join the Reynolds family. I ignored it. When she criticized my job, saying, "Money isn't everything, Madeline," I ignored it. When she asked why we didn't buy a bigger house because a Reynolds shouldn't live small, I ignored it. I thought patience would eventually earn respect. I was wrong. The apartment was mine before I ever met Daniel. A 2-bedroom place downtown that I bought after years of saving. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't luxury. But it was mine. My name was on the deed. My money paid for it. My choices built it. Daniel moved in after we married, and we both loved the place. At least, I thought we did. Then Patricia found out. It happened at Sunday dinner. The entire family was sitting around the table. Daniel's parents, his younger sister Emily, and us. Everything seemed normal, until Patricia placed a white envelope in front of my plate. I looked at it. "What's this?" I asked. Patricia smiled. "A family adjustment." I opened it. Inside was a typed invoice. My eyes moved across the page. Apartment occupancy contribution, $1,500 monthly. I thought it was a joke. I actually laughed. A small, confused laugh. "Patricia, what is this?" She picked up her wine glass. "Your rent." The table went silent. I stared at her. "My rent." She nodded. "Yes. The apartment is family property." For a moment, I honestly wondered if I had missed an entire conversation. "Family property." Daniel looked uncomfortable. "Mom." Patricia raised her hand. "I'm explaining something important." She turned back to me. "You and Daniel are married. Everything connected to the family should be handled fairly." I slowly placed the paper down. "Patricia, this apartment is not family property." Her smile disappeared. "Excuse me. I bought this apartment 3 years before Daniel and I met." Emily looked at her mother. "Wait, didn't you know that?" Patricia ignored her. "Marriage changes things, Madeline." "No," I said calmly. "Marriage does not change ownership records." The room became colder. I saw Daniel looking between us. He whispered, "Maybe we can discuss this later." But Patricia wasn't finished. "No wonder you have trouble understanding family," she said. That sentence hit harder than the invoice. Not because it hurt, because it explained everything. She didn't see me as family. She saw me as someone who needed to be corrected. I looked down at the invoice again. $1,500. A random number. No explanation. No agreement. Just a demand. So I asked the only question that mattered. "Patricia, can I ask you something?" She leaned back. "What? Why exactly do you believe you have the authority to charge me rent for something you don't own?" Nobody moved. Her face tightened. You are being disrespectful. No, I'm asking a legal question. Daniel gave me a warning look. But I couldn't ignore what was happening anymore. Patricia stood up. You always make everything about money. I looked at her. I'm an accountant. I make things about facts. She left the table. Dinner ended 5 minutes later. On the drive home, Daniel barely spoke. Finally, he said, "Why did you challenge her like that?" I turned toward him. Because she tried to charge me for my own apartment. She's my mother, and I'm your wife. Silence. That night, Daniel slept. I didn't. Something about the invoice bothered me. Not emotionally, professionally. The wording, the format, the way it was typed. It looked like something copied from an official document. And Patricia had used the phrase, family property. That phrase had a history. The next morning, I opened my laptop. I started searching, not the internet, my own records, property records, trust documents, family financial connections. Because there was one thing Patricia didn't know about me. When I see a strange number, I follow it, and what I found changed everything. The apartment wasn't connected to any family trust. But something else was. Years earlier, Daniel's grandfather had created a family investment trust. A trust meant to provide rental income for future generations. I remembered hearing about it. Everyone did. The Reynolds family liked talking about their legacy. But according to public records, the trust owned several properties, including a building downtown, a building with apartments, and then I saw the numbers. Rental income, missing, for years. Almost $200,000. I sat there staring at the screen. Someone had been collecting money from those properties. But it wasn't going into the trust. I kept digging. Bank transfers, management fees, private withdrawals. And then I found a name. Patricia Reynolds. My mother-in-law. I leaned back. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't angry. I was focused. Because I knew something. People who lie about small things usually hide bigger things. I printed everything. Then I waited. I didn't confront Patricia. Not yet. A week later, she called me. Her voice was cold. I heard you've been asking questions. I smiled. Questions about what? You know exactly what. I looked at the documents on my desk. Actually, Patricia, I have several questions. A pause. Then she said, you need to remember who you're dealing with. I replied, I do. Another pause. And you need to remember who I am. The line went quiet, because for the first time, Patricia wasn't talking to the woman she thought she could control. She was talking to someone who knew where every dollar went. And soon, the whole family would find out too. After my conversation with Patricia, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was afraid. Because my mind wouldn't stop calculating. Numbers have a strange way of telling stories. A missing payment is never just a missing payment. A hidden transfer is never just a hidden transfer. Someone always leaves a trail. And Patricia had left one. The next morning, I sat in my home office with every document spread across my desk. The Reynolds Family Trust, property records, bank statements, management agreements. For years, everyone in the family believed the trust was growing. They believed their grandfather's final gift was being protected. But the truth was different. Money from rental properties had been disappearing. Not all at once. Small amounts. Carefully. Quietly. The kind of theft people miss because they trust the person holding the keys. I checked everything again. Then I found the biggest problem. The trust wasn't just missing money. It was missing accountability. The person responsible for managing the trust was Patricia. I stared at her name. I thought about all the times she told me I didn't understand family. Maybe she was right. Maybe I didn't understand her version of family. The version where some people make the rules and everyone else follows. That evening, Daniel came home. He noticed the papers immediately. What is all this? I didn't answer right away. I wanted to give him a chance. Daniel, did you know your mother manages your grandfather's trust? His expression changed. Yes. Did you know almost $200,000 is missing? He froze. What? I turned my laptop toward him. He read the screen. His face went pale. No, that can't be right. I checked 3 times. He sat down. My mom wouldn't do that. I understood. Because loyalty is powerful, sometimes powerful enough to fight facts. Daniel, I'm not accusing her without proof. I'm showing you what I found. He kept scrolling. Then he whispered, why didn't she tell anyone? That was the question, the one that mattered. The next day, I contacted an attorney who specialized in trusts. I didn't want revenge. I wanted answers. And answers have a way of hurting people who built their lives on lies. 3 days later, I asked Patricia to meet me. She chose the same restaurant where the family usually celebrated birthdays. I guess she wanted a familiar place. A place where she felt powerful. She arrived wearing a designer coat and the same confident expression. She sat across from me. You look serious. I am. She folded her hands. Is this about the apartment again? No. Her eyes narrowed. Then what? I placed a folder on the table. She looked at it, then at me. What is this? The trust records. Her face changed instantly, just slightly. But I noticed. I always notice. What about them? I found some problems. She laughed. A nervous laugh. You went digging through family business. I looked at her. Family business shouldn't be hidden from family. She leaned forward. You have no idea what you're talking about. Actually, I do. I opened the folder. The trust should have received rental income from multiple properties. Silence. It didn't. Her jaw tightened. Those funds were being managed by you. She looked away. Only for a second. But it was enough. Be careful, Madeline. No, Patricia. I think you should be careful. For the first time, her confidence disappeared. What exactly are you accusing me of? I'm asking where the money went. She didn't answer. Because she knew. And I knew. The investigation became official the following week. The entire family found out. Daniel's father was devastated. Emily was furious. Not at me. At her mother. She said something I would never forget. All these years, you told us Madeline wasn't really family. She looked at Patricia, but she was the only one who protected what belonged to us. Patricia tried everything. She said I misunderstood. She said the money was used for expenses. She said she was protecting the family. But documents don't care about excuses. Neither do bank records. The missing money was recovered. The trust was repaired. And Patricia lost control of it. But the biggest change wasn't financial. It was personal. Daniel and I had a long conversation after everything ended. He apologized. Not for what his mother did. For standing quietly while she treated me like I didn't belong. I should have defended you, he said. I looked at him. Yes, you should have. It wasn't an easy conversation. But it was honest. And honesty was something our marriage needed. A few months later, I received another envelope. This time, I almost laughed. Because I recognized Patricia's handwriting. Inside was a letter. No invoice. No demands. Just words. She wrote, I spent years believing control was the same as protection. I was wrong. I don't expect forgiveness immediately. But I want you to know I finally understand why you asked that question. I read it twice. The question. The one that started everything. Why do you believe you have the authority to charge me rent for something you don't own? It wasn't just about an apartment. It was about every boundary I had allowed people to cross. Every time I stayed quiet because I wanted peace. Every time I accepted disrespect because I wanted to belong. I learned something important. Family isn't about who shares your last name. It's about who respects your place in the world. I still live in that apartment in Austin. The same one Patricia tried to charge me rent for. The same walls I bought with years of hard work. But now it means something different. It isn't just a home. It's proof. Proof that no one can rewrite your story just because they want control. And whenever someone tries to tell me what belongs to them, I don't argue. I don't shout. I simply ask the question that changed my life. Can you prove it? Because facts have a way of finding the truth. And sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one who knows exactly where the money went.